Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Wednesday. I'm not going to do the hump day joke. Nope. Refuse to do it. But we are almost a week away from the NFL draft kicking off. Here at Cheesehead TV, we'll be doing our 3 days of live streaming as we always do. In addition, we'll be having the first ever Cheesehead TV live in-person draft party in downtown Green Bay. Corey Banky will be in attendance at the Lyric Room starting at 7 o'clock, $5 at the door. Make sure you check it out. There's this link in the description of this video. You can learn more. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you all out there. And, of course, with a little over a week to go, the Packers will be on the clock in, about 1,000 some hours. So you've got plenty of time to dive into the Cheesehead TV Draft Guide. You can find a link to purchase yours in the description of this video. Do it, folks. Get your Cheesehead TV 2024 Draft Guide. Bone up. Learn about every single one of these prospects. Get to know them. Get to love them. In addition to all of the work on the prospects, there's tons of other Packers goodness, tons of Packers content for you to check out. Got a little over a week, people. Be the smartest person at your draft party, at the Packers draft party, at the Cheesehead TV draft party, wherever you go, whatever you're doing. You're going to know it all if you get the Cheesehead TV Draft Guide. Do it, folks. You want to. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts, because I see a lot of people talking about, oh, the Packers won't do this and the Packers won't do that. And, outside of drafting a punter in the first round, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. They could take a wide receiver on day 2 and I wouldn't blink. But it feels like some of you would melt down. And don't get it twisted. You're never set. You're never done. You're always progressing. You're always looking forward. I was talking to someone about Roman Wilson, the wide receiver from Michigan, who had an outstanding Senior Bowl, and I was like, I'd love to see him in a Packers uniform. And this guy was just beside himself with, well, that would be such a wasted pick. And I'm telling you, people, this stuff in the NFL changes so quickly. And the moment you think you are set, all of a sudden, that's when things fall apart. Look no further than last year with the cornerback position. Everybody was talking about champagne problems when Eric Stokes came back. How'd that work out? You are always trying to acquire talent. You're always looking long term, especially in the draft, especially early in the draft. So I understand people get kind of set with the guys they want, right? Or the guys they're hoping the Packers draft. And I'm not here to discourage that. But if there is a selection that you feel maybe, why that they are set at that position, there's a reasoning behind it. They're not just throwing darts. There's a lot of information behind the scenes that we're not privy to that drives some of this decision making. Now, do they bat 100%? Are they infallible? Of course not. I'm not sitting here saying every pick is great, every pick is going to be great, or every pick is going to be absolutely outstanding. I'm not saying that at all. And I know I get accused of being a cheerleader or a PR member for the Packers, etc., and that's fine. Y'all can say that, but I'm just telling you, there's reasoning behind this, and the reasoning is long-term thinking, trying to develop a program and not just play fantasy football, which is what I feel like a lot of people are doing out there. Good to see everybody in the comment section. Hope you're all doing well. We got Kalo starting us off. What's up, man? Random Packer, Kurt Warner, drink. That's old school reference right there. Kurt Warner had a cup of coffee in Green Bay. It's true. Good stuff. What else we got? Joey, what's going on, man? Do you think with the current Packers defensive roster in a better state than it was a couple years ago, do you think Pettin would have been better than Barry? Yes. I don't think that's a question. I think Pettin was always better than Barry. You give those guys the same stuff to work with, Pettin's always going to be better. I don't think that's actually anything anybody's questioned. Is it? Yes. Pettin would always be better than Barry. Matt absolutely downgraded when he let Pettin walk and hired Joe Barry. I didn't think this was a controversial statement, but yes, 1,000% true. Craig, what's going on, man? Hot take. The Packers will draft players in every round and everyone will be angry about everything. Bookmark it. I don't know, man. I think the Packers fandom has gotten kind of more on board and more in tune with what the Packers do in the draft. So where they may make a selection that Packers fans aren't in love with, I think they understand now that there's at least a plan, right? Especially coming off of last year, where no one really knew what to expect, and certainly early returns were dour. But the way they finished the season, and you really saw a lot of the progression and development right away from a lot of these young players. And the fact that now people are even talking to me about like, oh, they need an immediate contributor in the first round. Like they just be wasting a pick if they're like developing someone. Well, that tells you that we're back. Right? We're already back to we got to get Jordan Love another weapon. We got to make this dude a member of the Packers and go to the Super Bowl right now, which by the way is the funniest kind of recurring theme when it comes to the draft that I find each and every season. And I thought we were going to get away from that for a while, but we're right back in it because the Packers won a playoff game last year. All of a sudden, everyone thinks, oh, we're right there. We're on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. We just need to draft this guy in the first round and we're on our way. Man, it don't work like that. And if you think like that, that's how you end up at the bottom of the pile and back into like a decade of futility. You are never one dude away. You're never, that's the magic pick that's going to unlock the Super Bowl door. It doesn't exist. Stop thinking like that. And I'm not saying everyone does, but I see these comments. So I know there are people out there who think this way. You are wrong with a capital W. There is no selection in the draft, no single selection, first round or otherwise, that is going to be the key to your Super Bowl run. That is not the case, people. Mimsy, what's up? Any chance we trade up for a year one impact round one? Possible? I mean, really depends on the prospect and what Brian feels about him, but I'd be surprised. Let's put it that way. Random Packer from my friend's Sutta. Random Packer, Devin Funchess. Been utilized, but a good one. Definitely a good one. Mimsy, what's up? For obvious reasons, draft Mims. Mimsy Mims. That's what we need in this life. We need some Mimsy Mims. Here we go. What's up, Brendan Post? Not Packers related, but have you watched the Clone Wars at all? Final season is peak Star Wars. Oh, the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars animated series, yes, 1000%. And now I have the only thing I haven't watched is the latest episode of The Bad Batch. But yes, I watch all that stuff, and it is outstanding. And the last season of Clone Wars is must-watch stuff for any Star Wars fan, definitely. Ayahuasca, what's up, man? Better player on D, Keyshawn Nixon or Jarrett Bush? Bush is also my random Packer of the day. It's a good thing Corey's not here. We'd be having meltdowns that Jarrett Bush mentioned. It's a good question. I think Keyshawn Nixon is a tad better. Yes. Even with his struggles and inconsistencies, I think he is a better player from scrimmage than Jarrett Bush was. However, Jarrett Bush did intercept Ben Roethlisberger in a Super Bowl to help bring a Lombardi trophy back to Titletown. So he is a Packers legend forever, regardless of his struggles from scrimmage at times. I'll remind you also, much like Nixon, he was a demon on special teams. Now, obviously not a returner, but as a gunner, coverage units, the guy balled out and helped the Packers. I know Jarrett Bush, a lot of the memories are of his kind of getting beat, some of the struggles he had from scrimmage. But, man, he contributed to a Super Bowl champion. He didn't just sit on the sidelines, man. He was a legit player. So, but, yeah, if you're talking straight up just from scrimmage, defensive back play, give me Keyshawn Nixon of the two. She said, Joey, thanks again, man. Only reason I asked was because a couple people wanted him fired when he was there. I agree it was a downgrade, 100%. Just wanted your thoughts on that random thought. I get you, man. I feel it. And yes, a lot of people wanted Pettine gone because it was very frustrating at times. But, this is the NFL where everybody wants their defensive coordinator fired. I think I told the story, but there was a moment. It was after the Tampa Bay game because obviously that was when I had my meltdown essentially on Watch Party, which of course got clipped and then went kind of all around the Packers blogosphere. Now that's like 3 years of frustration being, pent up and then released, right? Because that Tampa game was so hard to watch. But I had a friend at NFL Network who was like, I see you people mean Packers fans, talk about how you know, how bad Barry is, and I think everybody hates their defensive coordinator. It's just like part of the gig, right? But then he watched that game and he was like, oh yeah, this guy's terrible. I'm like, yeah, now you get it. It has not been fun, not been a good time. John, what's up, man? Any nutty surprises you're predicting for the draft? Nothing too nutty. I mean, I think, Brian's gotten better and better as he's done the job, right? I'm fascinated to see if, he makes all 11 selections. I seriously doubt he does, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't, as far as like going crazy, like taking a wide receiver at 25. No, I don't see anything like that. Though I'm kind of rooting for it just for the narratives and because it'd be a lot of fun. Ryan, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Random Packer, KGB. Ooh, trying to get me to touch the third rail. Ain't going to do it. Very productive member of the Green Bay Packers when he was playing. Brandon Miller, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. I think Goot said once that Ted traded the pick they got for number 4, so they didn't feel the pressure of being the pick he was traded for. Wonder if Goot feels that way with the second round pick for 12 this year. I do remember him saying that, and I do wonder if possibly he goes that route. Though I will say, Ted very, very famously, at least in Packer circles, like shied away from Wisconsin projects and Wisconsin players, specifically because he didn't want them to have that kind of pressure on them. Ted was a very particular kind of guy, and I don't get the sense that Brian is exactly like that. So I suspect there's a possibility that he makes that selection. Now, that said, hey, it's tradable. Maybe they use that as ammo to get up someplace else or drop down and get more picks. Entirely possible. We shall see. Random Packer, Barry Smith. I like it. What else we got here, folks? Logan says, I love Jeff Halfley. Everyone loves Jeff Halfley now because they haven't given up a yard, right? I mean, I like the idea of Jeff Halfley, but man, I've been watching the Packers defense blow it for a long time. It's going to take some pelts on the wall, so to speak, for me to buy in. I love the idea. I love everything I've heard. Love the introductory press conference. Love what they've done and added so far on defense. I'm all in. I'm rooting for him. Go get him, Tiger. But yeah, I got to see it. I got to see it. Most hated. Thanks for being a Care of the G Club member, brother. And good to hear from you at happy hour last night. What do you think about trading picks to pick up a future first for next year? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Brian's done it before, right? He did it that first year when they dropped down incredibly far and then came back up for Jair, but they picked up the Saints first rounder the following season. Entirely possible. Again, it's really down to their evaluation of whoever they're kind of weighing, selecting, and possibly dropping down to pick up that pick. And yeah, it's impossible to say with any kind of clarity, but packaging picks for a first rounder next year feels a little kind of extreme, if I'm being honest, when it comes to how Brian has operated. I mean, he's shown that he's willing to kind of move up and down, but yeah, I mean, again, outside of a punter in the first round, nothing would shock me. So it's got to be on the table, right? Peter, thanks for the super chat. What are the draft differences between Ted Thompson and Brian Gutekunst? For the most part, now, Ted very famously moved up for Clay that year that they were switching the defense. But, he did not totally shy away, but he wasn't big on trading up for guys. He did it on occasion, but it wasn't something that he did readily. Whereas I feel like, and I don't know if like this is a one for one comparison, but it feels like Brian's a little more open to it. Now, doesn't mean he's always doing it. Doesn't mean he's always going to make that call, but sure feels like he's a little more kind of open to it. And the other thing is, he certainly feels a bit more kind of, for lack of a better word, loose about some of the thresholds and some of the, ideas as far as we want XYZ from these positions and we're not going to bend those rules ever. And Ted was not exactly like that, but pretty close. whereas Brian has shown, at least in one area or another, depending on the prospect, he's willing to kind of live outside the lines a little bit, color outside the lines when it comes to, you know, height, weight, some of the agility stuff, some of the athletic testing. It just feels like he's a little less rigid in that regard. Now, sometimes that's good, sometimes that hurts you. Tom Landry had the very famous quote back in the day, but you start making exceptions, pretty soon you've got a team full of exceptions, and you want to make sure that you adhere to your process, something they've been doing in that building since Ron Wolf arrived, and it's been pretty damn successful for a reason, because they have, found this way of working that is, essentially put a lot of really good football players on the field for Green Bay. So, yeah, I just think, again, a little less rigidity when it comes to some of the thresholds and things like that. That would be the first thing that jumps off for me. Ed, thanks for the super chat. If a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, do the Bears still suck? I got nothing. Yeah, we need the draft to get here. And yes, the Bears do indeed still suck. Adam, thanks for the super chat, man. Aaron, what's your favorite Packer meme? Put the team on his back. Justin Harrell draft freak out. They're celebrating with 113 in the fourth. Other. Well, okay. Then now let's define our terms here a little bit, shall we? Because the Justin Harrell freak out is not a meme, really. I mean, that's a video, right? That's a pretty good 2-3 minute video. A meme would be like a picture with some text on it, traditionally. And even the put the team on your back is more of a video. The freak out celebrating at 113, that can be a meme. That's a meme, right? I don't know, man. Those are all great. I would say it's hard to top the freak out at 113, the Dallas Cowboys one, simply because I was there, and I remember thinking, well, man, these fans are just going crazy, and there's like oceans of time left. I mean, talk about the essential lot of ball game left moment. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear some other nominations from the crowd. There have been some great ones throughout the years, no doubt. I think the Brian Gutekunst with the laser eyes, that's pretty good. Whenever there's some kind of move to be made, or some development in the draft, or in free agency, and someone puts that up, that's always good for a chuckle. Matthew, what's up, man? Ever thought about interviewing Andrew Brandt? I have interviewed Andrew Brandt several times, actually. There's actually a photo somewhere in the ether of the internet of the two of us on the draft floor at Radio City, back in the day when the draft was here in New York. I'll have him on at some point again, no question about it. At this point, I consider Andrew a friend, and we go back a long way. So yes, we most certainly will do that at some point. Joey, what's up, man? You want chaos? Trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, they do have 11 picks. They do have a ton of ammo, but yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Ayahuasca, what's up, man? The talk of Tom moving to center is surprising. I was on board with this a year ago, but after seeing Tom at right tackle, it feels like he's more valuable there. It all depends, man. If you're told that you can have Jason Kelsey, which is essentially what they're saying by dubbing him, now whoever this is inside the Packers building is saying this, but you're going to have a Hall of Fame center. That's hard to bypass, man. That's hard to sniff your nose at, or just completely dismiss. Now, yes, he played exceptionally well at right tackle, but this draft in particular is filled with quality tackles. So I understand the Packers potentially making that kind of move. And again, could be all a smokescreen for all we know, but it makes some sense, especially considering that Brian has talked about his best position being center, and the fact that he has played center and done so very, very well, and the fact that they ran him at center last summer, with the ones. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Brandon, what's up? Random Packer, Brett Swain. Brett Swain, I haven't seen him on Twitter. Maybe he jumped off the platform, but he used to be pretty active. John Sabatovich, thanks for the super chat. I was told the game was over. Wish it wasn't me. That was a fun night. That was a fun night. right over there in my living room. Man, Rasul Douglas, shout out. But yeah, I was told the game was over. Is available in the Cheesehead TV store as various pieces of merch. You can get me on a mug, you can get me on a shirt, all sorts of fun. Good times. Oh, Ryan, good random Packer. Vonnie Holiday. I think that has been used once, but is not one that is gone too often. So that's a very, very good one. There should be a meme of a photo of MLF. Yeah, there's a good GIF of Matt talking about how a call is bullshit. That's one of my favorite GIFs to drop when something I think is bullshit. I will throw that out there on the old X. But yeah, there needs to be a few more, definitely. Am I going to read When Pride Still Mattered this offseason? Brett, I'm way ahead of you. Yeah, I read it every offseason. I absolutely adore that book. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The chapter that starts with Lombardi and family in the family car rounding Chicago and then making the drive up in the bleak of winter, and how there's all sorts of chatter and singing and they're having a good time. And then once they pass Chicago and get into like the lunar landscape of winter in Wisconsin, everything just gets quiet. And they all start thinking, what in the hell are we getting into? Outstanding book. Just I cannot recommend it enough if you guys haven't read it. Wonder if Myers will be good at right guard. We'll see, man. If he gets the opportunity, that's a potential for him to compete there if they do move Zach. I think that's one of the questions they're going to try and answer after the draft. I have to see how it shakes out, who else gets added to the room. But yes, I wouldn't dismiss that possibility. All right, everybody, I got to get nuts. I got to get crazy. I got to go and, do some more work. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for, these dog days before the draft when the hay is in the barn, so to speak, and there isn't a whole lot more news to talk about until they make those picks. I really appreciate each and every one of you that come out here every day live and chat it up, including Brother Love with the last second super chat. I know it's a little while away, but will there be a Cheesehead TV meetup in Brazil? I'm very excited about making this trip. Brother Love, absolutely 1,000%. We'll get on the other side of the draft and we'll start kind of planning that. But yes, without fail. So be on the lookout for information because we will 100% be having a meetup while we're in Brazil. Thank you so much, everybody. Please hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack, go.